Dickinson.
I think this is good, and we're back. It's times three,
get along good with China.
And Don's on a slant, and he's looking a little shorter than Harry.
Remember that line, Emily Dickinson? Tell the truth.
I am shorter than Harry.
Tell the truth,
you are
but
shorter
tell
than
it
Harry.
slant. You know how many poems?
Harry's a big-time athlete. You know, you're not talking to a.
Well, that's right. You were a baseball player, aren't you, Harry?
He happens to be intellectual.
I played baseball every league from age 5 to 17.
I'm saying nice things about you. Why are you talking over that? How are you going to be the star?
Say it again.
I'm saying he's a very nice man.
Oh, yes.
I forgot. See,
make something up.
You see, the compliment was honest. That's why.
You make it up.
I can't do it.
Well, you can see by the cap, Harry is a big L.A. Dodgers fan.
Oh, he is the Dodger fan. He took me to a baseball game.
I played.
I was waving to people in 707s that were flying to New York.
Yeah, I think they want to make that stadium higher too, don't they?
$8 for a seat. $8 seat, basically.
You know, I hear there's got to be about 14 different groups trying to buy the Dodgers. And
Joe Torre, if he got it, that would be good because he knows a lot about baseball.
Yeah.
And the bill, you would be surprised how much they're offering. He offered like $1.2 billion, and the guy says, "No, I want $2 billion." So somewhere the guy will probably end up getting about 1.5. And then here's the other thing. You know, they're trying to get rid of McCord. He wants to. It's up to him to choose. Obviously.
Yeah, he gets to choose.
He wants to hang on to the parking, and he charges $15 a shot.
See, he's a real fan. He knows everything about that thing.
Well, he does.
I don't know anything about that.
One time I took this friend of ours, so a guy's holding the bat like this and he's shaking the bat like this, you know, waiting for the pitcher to pitch, and she looks at me, she said, "Is he allowed to do that?"
Yeah, I think so. Wave the bat. Well, McCourt, you know, he made his fortunes in parking lots in Boston, so.
Well, you know, when he first bought it, there was like controlled parking. And before it was every man for himself. I liked it better when it was the first way, you know.
Yeah, a little more democratic, I think.
So you never had to pay to park?
No, in terms of leaving.
Nowadays, no, it's just democratic, you know, you
just go for it. You know, whoever got there first, now it's all controlled.
Yeah, but how can they consider them baseball fans when they walk out? They walked out at that game. They were in overtime. 11 to
overtime. Bases are loaded. 3 and 2.
11 and 12th inning tie game, and they're walking home.
Because you know why? Sports Illustrated did a interview with players around the league, and they said that the Dodger Stadium was the best place to play, but the Dodger Stadium fans, the Dodger fans were the worst because they come in the 3rd inning and leave in the 7th. Yeah, you know, we got so much going on here in LA.
But they all have a $8 hot dog.
Not you.
And they dress the kid up with a hat.
You like to get those Subway sandwiches.
$8 hot dog, my God.
$8 for a hot dog.
Does that come with table service?
No, I'll tell you.
Oh, they throw it at you.
Gee, you have to go get it. What, throw it? No, nobody's bringing it to you.
Oh, they're not tossing you the dog.
One time I went with this friend of mine, Harvey Kubernick, who's got a new book out on Monterey Pop, and he said, we're sitting in these season ticket thing. Walter O'Malley's the son who owned the club. So he called him over here. He says, "Walter, come here." And he introduced me to him. And he says, "How come you're not starting the games at, I don't know, it's 7:30 as you used to, or now 7? I can't remember the exact mathematic thing, but he says, to save money on lights." And when he started the Dodger Stadium, he didn't put any drinking fountains in for a year so that people would buy sodas.
Oh, well, then an $8 hot dog makes sense.
He wants to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's good. He's good.
So he'll close off all the water fountains, and everybody have to drink beer.
Well, because baseball's, you know, baseball family. Well, you know, I read this book on Branch Rickey, the Dodger guy in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
What he did, he's the guy who created the farm system, and he actually formed. Now, this is not me saying this is in the book. He modeled the farm system in baseball on the slave plantation, where the owners owned all this, and then he's the guy who developed the best Dodger baseball farm club, and they had Newcomb, Roy Campanella, and Jackie Robinson. You know, 43, 44, and then Robinson, as you know, was the first guy.
Who was the farm team for the Brooklyn Dodgers?
There was one in Jersey, but I can't remember them all.
Oh, I used to remember that.
I know I went to the Denver Bears. They were the Dodgers, the Yankees.
During the time when there were no black people playing in baseball, there were no black people playing in any sports, right? Any professional.
Yeah, well, they had their
Well,
own
there was the Negro League,
The
as they
Negro
called it.
Yeah.
In the
Baseball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there-
baseball was the first to break the color
And
barrier.
football, they had
All white. Yeah.
Did and now football is practically all black, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, the other day I was listening.
But you know, there was never a big deal about the black guys in football. Did you notice that?
Well, because
Baseball,
it already been covered.
Jackie Robinson and
Yeah. You know, baseball. Jackie Robinson broke the barrier for everybody, and then from then on, you know.
But football, they must have slipped in one by one because all
Sure.
of a sudden,
Jim Brown,
you
remember
turn
Jim
around,
Brown?
there's probably more black players than white players in basketball and football.
Well,
Yeah.
you remember in the 30s in basketball, there were a lot of Jewish basketball players.
Yes.
And then the blacks came in and with their athleticism took it to another level. But I was watching a Lakers game recently. There's a lot of white guys now on the Lakers. And one of the announcers on radio said, there's so many white guys out there, I don't know what sport I'm watching.
That's funny.
Yeah, because
What year he's watching it in.
It's amazing as a race that black people are so good in athletics.
athletic.
Why is that? Is that a genetic thing?
Long legs in some cases, you know.
Environmental places like in Africa, like I can understand that baseball players come from South America. Because those kids play with tomatoes for baseball.
Dominican Republic or something.
A baseball team you could organize, a
Yes.
basketball team, a football team.
But here's something about this subject matter. Remember Nicky the Greek?
Yeah.
Sure.
And remember Joe Campanis? And
Yes.
there was another guy. They all got kicked out of their position because they started making assumptions of why this subject matter happened, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to let you take care of that one.
Why? What are you?
They don't like generalizations about one race being superior or they got this or
No,
that.
but
They
you
don't
have
like
to
that.
wonder
I know.
why
I'm just saying they got kicked out.
when there's all black guys who
Well, because they're great.
Great
physical
players.
beings.
dominating the play. You say, why are they so talented? Why can they lose so fast? Even the guy, Kenya, they always win the.
The running, distance running,
thing.
yeah.
So that's got to be a born genetic thing.
I think so, yeah. I think that they're specific to that area, you know. Kenya in the mountains.
It might could be, very strangely enough, as many things, it might be the oppression on them, demanded that there's the only way out, really, like.
Boxing or sports.
Yeah, and that you just require a self-discipline. No one could stop you from building your body up strong.
Well, another
Yeah.
thing, there used to be more blacks in baseball than today, and one of the reasons in the inner city there are more basketball courts and baseball diamonds.
Yeah,
So they
that's
go
true.
To, gravitate to where
They go to
can play.
basketball instead.
Yeah.
But they're like safe sports compared to like football or hockey.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Jesus.
All right, here's what you
He's a
should do with
Canadian.
hockey.
He loves hockey.
Here's what you should do with hockey. Have you ever been to a hockey game?
No.
All right, you go to Staples, and I guarantee you'll have difficulty watching the puck. So, you know, it's difficult to see it. So why not make the puck like orange fluorescent? I guarantee you, if you made that puck orange fluorescent where people could watch it, go there sometime. It's hard to keep.
Why don't they
you
do
probably
that?
know more
Why
about
don't
it
they
being
do
a
that?
Canadian. It's hard to keep an eye on where that puck is.
Why don't they do that? It's a very good idea.
Well, tradition probably.
But they want to have a fight. Really.
I mean, they did put an orange dot in the center of it at one point.
They did?
I think they've dropped
An
it.
orange dot.
Yeah, there used to be like an orange ball in the center of it, but
Yeah, that seems like such a dangerous game.
yeah.
You know, not only the fighting.
Oh, it's
Hockey
dangerous. I mean, you figure you got that puck coming at you at about 120 miles an hour.
And the ice skating thing is
Yeah.
pretty sharp too. You know.
I
Sure
was doing
is.
a movie one time with Kurt Russell, who, you know, he's a sports guy, and he said that the hockey players are the best athletes because you got to be able to do all of these other things plus skate.
Backwards at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's right. And
it's
stick handle the
colorful.
puck.
Remember that movie Slapshot? About
Yeah,
those
Paul
Canadian
Newman.
guys?
Great
Yeah.
That was
movie.
great.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
Not too far from the truth.
Kind of hockey nerds, those guys, the brothers, they were crazy.
The killers, yeah.
They can't, or they wouldn't ban, actually outright ban fighting.
Oh no, it's
Can't.
part of the territory.
It's just a natural thing to like a guy hits you in the head with a stick and punch him in the mouth.
It'd
Well-
be like outlawing gossip and grosses in the movie business.
grosses. Even little kids start to know how much money.
Yeah, the weekend box office.
They can know Friday night. Those financiers can tell you how much it's going to domestically make, right?
Yeah, now they're telling you in advance.
Don't you think there's a little fuddy-duddy business in there, the accounting there?
No, they know.
How do you keep
They
track
have,
of every little
formulas
theater all through the United States?
Depending on what type of year, and then it's either 4.5 or 4.3, they can multiply that and they can tell you the gross domestically.
Yeah.
Like your weekend gross.
And they know it so fast, man.
Oh, they're smart.
Yeah, they say on Thursday the weekend gross will be $48.2 million. It hasn't happened yet.
And what they do then is they always spend that once it's coming in on Monday, so they
It's spent. That's right.
What about Lou Wasserman? He didn't even write anything down. He kept all those figures in his mind. When Jaws opened, he told the guy to cut it back to 300 theaters and have people stand outside the line. He knew every theater, how many seats, how much money at each showing in Canada and America in his mind. He knew that. He's a guy who had quite a mind, huh?
Phenomenal.
Lou Wasserman.
Yeah, wasn't he an agent originally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Film
MCA, music.
Film industries.
And he had one of his rules I liked about the agents. He said you have to return every phone call you get by the end of the day. It makes sense, right?
Oh yeah, because you never know what that phone call might bring to you.
But you can't escape in any field a guy getting too big when he's there one time. They break all the rules.
But you know what? Even though it showed in that movie, even though how great he was, there were still class differences. Remember, there were the Blue Bloods in Pasadena.
Yeah.
There were the people in Beverly Hills. I mean, all these class strictures.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it still exists today. Yeah, the Pasadena Blue Bloods.
Pasadena. Where was where was it? With Beverly Hills and Hancock Park, was that out Pasadena originally? And then
No, they were below. They were below all the Pasadena Blue Bloods. All these class things.
I thought from the East Coast, we always heard about Pasadena people being the wealthy people in color. Is that not true anymore?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, there is something you don't know.
I know how much I get every month.
But you can't be sure.
Are you aiming toward the sports fans today with your talk about baseball?
I don't know how we got into it. I don't know how we got into it.
We got out of it.
It's LA, you know.
It's good that he acknowledged you as the prime.
He's an LA Dodgers fan.
He has two hats. He has one in blue, one in white. Do you have another color too?
Dodgers are in the news. You know, I mean, what else can we say?
Well, it's still the best sports dollar in LA.
And you know what's amazing? How a big business like baseball, and they're involved in a marriage.
Yeah.
And they take sides in the marriage. Some are for the wife and some for the husband.
Did you ever hear that story about Don Drysdale and Koufax? About Koufax wouldn't pitch on a Jewish holiday.
Yeah.
So it was a Saturday, I don't know, it was Yom Kippur or whatever, but he wasn't pitching. So Don Drysdale was pitching, and the other opposing team got 4 runs in the first inning. So here comes Walter Alston, and as he gets to the mound, Drysdale looked at him and said, "All right, I know. I bet you wish I was Jewish."
Yeah.
He got shelled.
There weren't many Jewish baseball players except Hank Greenberg.
Hank Greenberg was great.
I think the smallest number of Jews that were involved in anything was the Jewish bull riders in the rodeo. There wasn't too many of those. No, their mothers would say, no, doctor, lawyer, come on, you're not going to be a bull rider in Texas.
You know, living in this area, Dave, did you ever know Tomar, Jewish guy who owned Peter's, dry cleaners?
Oh yeah, Peter's
He
Magnolia.
told me one time, he says, I've been in everybody's trousers in town.
Yeah.
But he told me one time, talking about this, he says, this is, he died about 5 years ago, unfortunately, but he said, at one point, he said, there are 11 Jewish ball players. He knew all of the...
Oh yeah, Sandy Koufax. And
no, but I mean, in the league at that particular time, about 10 years ago, he knew all of that stuff. You were talking about something earlier, which was interesting, about you couldn't say the word, something to do with swans and all that.
Oh, that was just in that's not sports. That's in show business. How the morality level has changed in the business. I was divorced. I almost lost one of the biggest shots of my life. appeared with Steve Allen for the first time, and I was doing a bit about exotic foods and talking about the most expensive exotic food, swan sweat. Because you can't say sweat today. My God, you take someone you can't say sweat today. You have to say sweat. I mean,
of course.
You go to a cable good company and they count.
You're sweating it out.
How many porno things you've said, and how dirty is it?
Yeah.
Does he really? Can he really take off his good? They just want to keep pushing the envelope.
Well, Don, I think you've given us the word of the day. It's got to be sweat. Sweat is the word of the day. We're going to make it official.
Good.
We're going to put it.
Sweat. They always judge the man by the sweat of his brow.
That's the sweat of his brow. Yeah. I think that's worthwhile. Well, gentlemen, we will close out.
That was the God's punishment for Garden of Eden to Adam. He said, by the sweat of the brow. You won't have free room and board.
When they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, they went to another land. Where did those other people come from when they met the people over there?
Hey, that book is that book.
Yeah, stay away from the book. Yeah. No, don't change the book. Well, that's it for today, guys.
I always want, okay, and the closing line is...
well, sweat is our word of the day. And goodbye, Harry. Goodbye, Don. And we'll see you later in the week.
Not a drip of sweat on any of us.
Okay.